Under the current global warming discussion, the focus on a vehicle's impact on the environment, not only from driving but over its whole life cycle, is increasing. Through the process of life cycle assessment, Toyota is committed to reducing CO2 emissions at every stage of a vehicle's life. Life cycle assessment takes into account all resources consumed during the whole life cycle of a product. From design and production, through to driving and final recycling, assessing CO2 emissions as well as water and air quality in order to find areas for improvement. The 4 steps of the LCA are material production, vehicle production, driving and recycling. The new Prius is built at the Tsutsumi plant, one of Toyota's 5 sustainable plants. By continuously implementing new measures, the plant's overall CO2 emissions have been cut by 50% between 1990 and 2006. The installation of 50,000 square meters of photovoltaic solar panels in 2008 reduced CO2 emissions by a further 740 tons a year. The total output of the panels is 2,000 kilowatt, equal to the average consumption of 500 households. Half of the electricity for the assembly plant comes from the solar panels, while the remaining half is produced by gas cogeneration. Comprehensive water recycling programs have led to a 50% reduction in plant water discharge to the local river system. The discharged water is 5 times cleaner than the river itself. The assembly building's 22,000 square meters of photocatalytic paint has the same effect as planting 2,000 trees, cleaning the air by producing oxygen in sunlight. In order to further offset CO2 emissions, 50,000 trees were planted at and around the factory in 2008. The Prius hybrid battery is built by Panasonic in a state-of-the-art plant in Japan. From the first to the second generation, the Prius battery has increased in performance while decreasing in size. Ecological plastic, the world's first injection-molded materials to be derived from plants, are incorporated in the Prius, and Toyota plans to increase their usage in future vehicles. Ecoplastic emits 20% less CO2 during a product's life cycle. The CO2 emissions from material and vehicle production of Prius are similar to comparable petrol and diesel vehicles. During the driving phase, accounting for more than 71% of Prius' whole life cycle CO2 emissions, the advantages of Prius become significant. Driving Prius in Eco mode and using the Eco Drive monitor can reduce CO2 emissions by around 10 to 15%. In line with Toyota's long-term goals of recycling end-of-life vehicles, every design detail of the Prius was analyzed to ensure the lowest possible environmental impact throughout the vehicle's lifespan. Every new Prius contains 5.7 kilograms of recycled plastic materials, including soundproofing products. In all, more than 85% of the Prius is recyclable and more than 95% is recoverable. An innovative near-zero emission recycling process also ensures that 95% of the Prius high-voltage battery components are successfully recovered for reuse. The battery case, wires and electronic parts are all reused in steel and electronic component manufacturing. The power cells are recycled using an energy-efficient induction-based vacuum thermal process. The remaining highly concentrated nickel alloy is reused as a raw material in new battery production. After 150,000 kilometers, the Prius total CO2 emissions are already 37% less than for a comparable diesel or petrol vehicle. For each step of its whole life cycle, the new Prius has been designed to minimize its environmental impact and its carbon footprint.